One's ready. One's ready. Go!
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. This is your daily drop for, well, it's the 24th today is when I'm recording this. I didn't get a chance to record it yesterday, but it's the news from yesterday. So, but it is brought to you by CardoMax.com. Use the promo code One's Ready. You'll get these packets. They've got immune booster, they've got hydration, they've got caffeine, right? And it's great tasting flavors. So it's fantastic. I just showed you this is the caffeine. This right here is the hydration. And honestly, I'm all out of the immune boost because me and the family kind of go through it. So promo code One's Ready, cardomax.com, achieve your max. And then also we have one slot left for the Operator Training Summit that's going to be happening 21 and 22 June in San Diego, specifically La Jolla. It's going to be a great event. It's a 2-day event. First day is going to be running, rucking, calisthenics, attribute academics. We've got Taylor Starch who's going to be working on mobility and running specifically to help you out. And then the second day is 12 hours in the pool doing underwaters, mask and snorkel recovery, mask clearing, drown proofing, treading water, swimming, buddy breathing, drown proofing, and all that kind of stuff. And then we have a surprise at the end. So if you are interested in that, shoot me an email at jared@onesready.com or leave us a comment with your email and then we'll get back to you. All right. If you're new here, this is the Department of the Air Force's news that is curated by Public Affairs and then published on their site. And so I've run it through AI just to kind of get the gist of it. And then we'll go through it. And then if I have any insider baseball or anything like that, I'll provide it, whatever it is. All right. First off, joint news. The Army's Old Guard places flags at Arlington Cemetery. About 1,500 soldiers from the Army's 3rd U.S. Infantry Regiment placed 260,000 American flags. That's a lot of flags at Arlington National Cemetery headstones for Memorial Day. The event, part of a tradition involving ceremonies and funerals, reflects ongoing honor with a Flowers of Remembrance Day ceremony planned for the weekend. I've been to Arlington, but I've never been there for Memorial Day. I got to imagine that is a pretty somber and place to go for reflection, especially on Memorial Day weekend, or if you're over in Normandy at the U.S. National, I don't know if it's U.S. National Cemetery, but the cemetery over Normandy. If you're in the United Kingdom and specifically near Cambridge or Mildenhall or Lakenheath, something like that, Cambridge also has a U.S. cemetery out there as well. So might be worth checking that out if you have a chance. I would. It's a good spot. All right, next, the UK-US agreement on Diego Garcia access. The UK and US secured a century-long agreement for continued access to Diego Garcia, a key base in the Indo-Pacific region. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth emphasized its role in U.S. Central Command, while the British Ministry of Defense highlighted its significance to transatlantic security. I did not know that Diego Garcia was a UK territory. I don't know why I didn't know that. I'm also not surprised because the UK used to own like so much land in the world. So yeah, I guess I just didn't know that. But a century long, like we lease all these places that we have, in Germany, Spain, Italy, the United Kingdom. We rent them, we lease them under very, very long agreements. I think it was a couple of years ago now, but RAF Mildenhall in the UK was coming up for kind of a renewal, and the US was talking about going away from it and just closing it down and giving it back to the UK. But then obviously we didn't do that because RAF Mildenhall is still around. So but Diego Garcia is a very strategic base for us for sure. National Guardsmen briefed on Cyber Yankee exercise. National Guardsmen participated in the Cyber Yankee exercise, receiving a briefing from the utility company in Littleton, Massachusetts on operational technology vulnerabilities. The exercise used open source intelligence to simulate real-world cyber threats, focusing on securing critical infrastructure. Right on. Any kind of exercise that will take our folks that are, supposed to be executing things real world, any kind of exercise that helps challenge them and puts them through scenarios that are realistic is a benefit to us. So right on. DoD's shift to smaller language models. The Defense Department is exploring small scale AI language models that operate on focused data sets for enhanced security, differing from larger models like ChatGPT. The US and European and national security labs are collaborating to ensure these models meet nuclear weapons surety requirements. So I see that as just like, you have your general AI or your large language models kind of thing, which is kind of what everybody's used to. When it comes to just asking questions, doing searches, analyzing, that kind of stuff. But then the AI that they're talking about for this in particular are things like that are specifically designed for a purpose. And that's not something new, right? This has been out for a while now, but that's kind of what they're getting at in this. And it makes sense. Like if we're talking about nuclear surety stuff and throwing AI into that, it doesn't need a large language model. It just needs a smaller data set, smaller data points to then draw off of and make a conclusion. All right, next, Hegseth addresses military moving system issues. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth ordered improvements to the household goods moving system, citing service members' frustration with delays. The changes involve U.S. Transportation Command leveraging both the Global Household Goods Contract and the legacy programs to improve moving services. Yes, this has been broken for a while now, and there's many aspects to it that it could be its own episode, right? But the fees and the reimbursement that service members were getting had been decreased. Some of the things that we were allowed to do and not allowed to do had changed, and it was very restrictive. As long as it took to make moves happen and schedule movers to come to your house and all that kind of stuff, and the system itself that they were using, it's just not it's not great. It's not definitely not something. If you have something like that, and you could hire somebody like Google, Yahoo, Squarespace, somebody like that to help design something, that would be great, because the process itself for sure is broken. And that's not even including exceptional family member programs, because that program, even though they like it, all right, I'll go into it real fast. Exceptional family member program is if you have a family member that requires, special education, special medical treatment. That is, it could be acute, that requires just, hey, for the next 3 years, this, my dependent's going to require this medical treatment, or it could be chronic, enduring, persistent, whatever word you want to use, that they'll live with that for the rest of their life. So it impacts all of your future on assignments. Well, it used to be that you receive a RIP or you receive orders, and which was like a assignment notification, and then you would submit like, hey, yeah, this is the report no later than date that I want to have if it's different from what is provided, and here's my medical clearance stuff. And the medical clearance stuff would all get packaged up from your current medical providers and sent to the gaining medical group, and the medical group there that's gaining you would dive into your records and assess, like, are they able to treat you? And if they couldn't, and there was no suitable replacement out on the economy for it, they would actually return it and go, hey, this member does not pass EFMP, or Exceptional Family Member Program. So turn those orders off and find someplace else for them to go. Or they could say, yeah, we can support it, we can provide treatment, or there's enough people on the economy, you can do it. MacDill Air Force Base is a big example of that. Is their medical group is very, very tiny, but some of the medical just right off a base is incredible, right? And in the Tampa proper. So that's why they don't really deny anybody going there. So that whole process used to take 6 weeks to do. Now it is in the realm of 12 to 15 weeks, and it is a broken system, especially because usually you get orders anywhere between 6 months and 4 months. You're not supposed to get orders less than 4 months out, but it does happen. So as you can imagine, you start doing the math on that and working backwards, like it's an issue, and it needs to be fixed. All right. Next, Air Force news. The Air Force to upgrade the F-47 and the F-35 systems. Chief of Staff General David Alvin. Sorry, sir, I keep leaving off the general part because I'm thinking of Chief of Staff of the Air Force. David Alvin announced the Air Force will upgrade the F-47 Next Generation Air Dominance Fighter and the F-35, taking ownership of their mission systems. The upgrades aim to enhance combat capability while ensuring cost effectiveness for taxpayers. It's pretty wild to think that the F-47 that hasn't even come out yet, I mean, yeah, the prototype was announced, it's already looking to be upgraded. Like, how does that even work? All right, B-52 deployment to Spain. B-52 bombers from Minot Air Force Base, North Dakota, deployed to Marone Air Base in Spain for a bomber task force mission. The deployment enhances U.S. Air Forces in Europe Air Forces Africa's readiness. That sounds really weird. And strengthens NATO partnerships. Yeah, any place that a B-52 is definitely strategic and strengthens readiness and partnership for sure. All right, the E-7 wedge tail development challenges. Defense agencies are addressing delays in the Air Force's E-7 wedge tail acquisition, crucial for airborne moving target tracking. Chief of Staff of the Air Force David Alvin emphasized the E-7's superior capabilities over the E-3, urging faster development to meet operational needs. This is 100% true. And still, looking at you, Boeing, like you're always on our radar, which I'm sure you really care about because we're nobodies. But dude, what is up, man? The E-7 is already, it's not like a brand new platform. Australia already has them. We just start making the thing, man. We really need this for battle tracking, command and control, and other things that we can't talk about on here. And you're screwing us. Same with the F-15EX. All right. I know fighter dude out there was talking about that. He works for Boeing and he was saying, hey, there's a big difference between fighters and heavies. But like even for the F-15EX, we've been waiting for a while and it's taken a long time. But still love you guys. Iowa Center pushes for Air National Guard funding. Senator from Iowa advocated funding for the Iowa National Guard's runway project at Colonel Bud Day Field, which is 55% complete. The project supports the 185th Air Refueling Wing's KC-135 mission, but requires at least 35% design completion for the congressional approval. All right. Space Force news. Space Force funding and staffing shortages. The Chief of Space Operations, General Trant Saltzman, highlighted budget and workforce cuts threatening the Space Force's mission readiness. New responsibilities like modernizing GPS and encoded signals are underfunded, risking the service's space superiority goals. 3% of the DoD budget. Like they are in the hurt locker and we got to bolster them up without a doubt. ULA rocket delays frustrate the Pentagon. The Pentagon is dissatisfied with the United Launch Alliance Vulcan Centaur program delays impacting space launch missions. General Stephen Purdy stressed the need for ULA to reestablish reliability and trust to meet acquisition. And yet everybody's given a hard time to Elon Musk, SpaceX, and the current administration because they're saying, hey, there's a conflict of interest. Again, SpaceX won a contract, and I'm not saying that has to do with the Vulcan Centaur program or anything like that, right? But when you start hating on a certain company because they keep getting the contract, and you start looking at it and going like, well, is there any other company out there that can do what this company does? And if there's not, then why are we even having the conversation? All right, of interest, defense reconciliation bill with $150 billion allocation. A reconciliation bill passed by the House allocates $150 billion for defense, including $25 billion for Golden Dome Initiative, $13 billion for nuclear deterrence, and $7.2 billion for air superiority. The Air Force Committee will guide spending through debates over fund distribution persists. That makes no sense. At least the way the grammar and the sentence structure. Anyway, tax-free bonuses for military members. Representative from Virginia and Georgia proposed a bill to exempt military members from taxes on bonuses, aiding their financial stability. A similar Senate measure by the senator from Connecticut would apply for bonuses paid after the 1st of January. So historically, you would only get tax-free bonuses if you were in a combat zone or what was dedicated a tax-free zone. This is awesome. I love this. Like, we shouldn't be paying taxes on it anyway. So yes, put this into effect. First, though, bring back the bonuses that were removed on the 21st of May. And I know that it's being revisited for FY26, but like, they shouldn't go away. Like, just bring the bonuses back. And for all you freaking haterades out there that are just drinking haterade and got your hate thrower out there, I get it. You don't get it. You don't get a bonus. Cross train to where into a job that you want to do that you do get a bonus. Don't hate on other people because they get bonuses. And of course, they're not doing, like, F-Spec War gets bonuses, or I guess that's been canceled right now too, at least for the rest of the FY. But don't hate on us because we get a bonus, right? You can't do what we do. And they're giving us bonuses to keep us in because we could easily get out and go do something else. That's why we're getting bonuses. Damn. All right. Russia's nuclear air-to-air missile development. Russia is developing nuclear air-to-air missiles, raising concerns as per a DIA report from the 11th of May, 2025. The missiles could counter drone swarms, intensifying tensions amid Russia's nuclear rhetoric in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. All right, next. NOAA predicts active 2025 hurricane season. NOAA forecasts 13 to 19 named storms for the 2025 Atlantic hurricane season, with 6 to 10 becoming hurricanes and 3 to 5 reaching major status. Warmer ocean temperatures and El Nino southern oscillation conditions are expected to drive increased storm activity. If you guys aren't tracking, storms have to reach a certain level, and I'm not a weatherman, so I don't actually know what level it is and what all the factors are, but I know it has to hit a certain wind level, probably pressure level, and maybe size level before it gets a name. And then obviously it becomes a tropical depression, tropical storm, then hurricane, and so on. Now that hoist went down the wrong pipe there. Concerns over CCA, or Collaborative Combat Aircraft program cost. Travis Sharp warned that rising unit costs for the Collaborative Combat Aircraft program could lead to unrealistic expectations. A full cost assessment, including development, sustainment, and logistics, is needed to manage future expenses effectively. Yeah, I hate to tell you, man, that's going to be a wicked expensive program. Same with the B-21, same with the F-47. And to be honest, I talked to a lot of pilots, and I haven't asked this question directly about CCAs and if they're excited about it or not, but a lot of them, just from what I've gathered, and again, I have not asked them, they're not really looking forward to this. They're like kind of neutral about it. They're like, okay, great, this is something else I got to deal with, or is it going to get in the way? How's it going to work? Is it going to be more worth, or is it going to be more trouble than it's worth, kind of thing? So, all right, last one. China's infiltration of the U.S. systems. No surprise. Mira Ricardel highlighted China's efforts to access American personal and sensitive data, posing risk to U.S. citizens and infrastructure. She urged coordinated efforts with NATO and Indo-Pacific partners to mitigate these threats and secure procurement pathways. I mean, we're just giving them our info anyway. We're as mad as I am about us giving info to China through TikTok and other means like that, we're giving it to our government. What do you think? Our government's any better? All right. That's the daily drop for today. You guys enjoy. Thank you.